Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with. Somebody said something about Anthony Davis kind of sticking with me. They were saying that they think he used the Lakers for a ring and is now wants to head back home to Chicago. Now, in my mind, going to Chicago is never a better destination than Los Angeles for any reason whatsoever. But if you from the Chi, then you totally don't give a damn about the weather. You don't care about this nonsense that we got over here. You want to be where you from, and I respect that to no end because if I'm away, I'm gonna be trying to get back here myself. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's what he's doing. Obviously, he's from Chi, so maybe he wants to go home. But I think the most important thing to remember is that he's attached to Braun in this situation. You know, Braun brought him here. Braun requested he play with him, and they've won a championship. So I think Anthony Davis is aware that where there's one, there's a possibility for another. And while the Chicago Bulls are a dope organization, they've won 6 NBA championships with Michael Jordan, and I think they have a fantastic team right now that he could help he could help quite a bit. I think he would love to play with Patrick Williams and Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine and whoever else they'd be able to retain. But I just don't really know. You know, I would love to say, nah, that's ridiculous, but I can't say that I see in him a fire that wants to be here. He's certainly not showing it through his play. So, you know, one would start wondering if he's happy here. As I've said before myself, I don't think that ruling out him leaving us high and dry is a smart decision. I really don't. I think there's a good chance that he may be considering greener pastures, especially given the fact that we've been struggling. And he's been blamed a lot about it. Now, the fact of the matter is, he's not to blame for our struggles. Our bad roster is to blame for our struggles, and him not playing well makes it so that we have no chance. That's the truth. It's not his fault this roster sucks. If he were doing what he was doing with the roster being good, he'd be able to get away with it. You see what I'm saying? But because we have our struggles, it's incumbent upon him to not only play well, but show a good face in the process. And I just think that Laker fans are asking a lot of him in the process of him not being healthy, including myself, because we're asking a lot. But I think at the end of the day, where much is given, much is expected. And quite frankly, Anthony Davis is a very, very elite athlete in this world. So it's not like you're just asking him to do stuff that he shouldn't be able to do. As I told somebody else, they were saying, you know, no amount of screaming into a camera can get Anthony Davis into being what you want him to be. And my thing to that is, I don't know if I believe that. Why? Because I've already seen him be what I want him to be. He just was that for New Orleans, not us. Quite honestly, I've already seen him do the stuff that I've asked him to do. 57 points, 20 rebounds, 5 blocks. The type of numbers that I'm asking him to put up, the type of numbers he's already put up more than once. You know, and that's why I demand these things of him. It's not because he's some guy that I'm thinking, I'm not going to ask this of everybody. I'm not going to say, hey, THT, can you go out there and score 60 for me right quick so that we can call you the greatest player? No, I'm asking Anthony Davis, who's already proven his DNA, who's already proven his pedigree, to go out there and be who it is that we know he is. And he's not doing that. For whatever reasons, it's not happening. So that's the reality of the Anthony Davis situation. It leaves a lot of room for speculation when you see a guy who doesn't seem to be passionate about his circumstances. Of course you're going to wonder if he wants out. Of course you're going to wonder if he wants to go back home. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's a lot of good he can do back in Chicago. You know, and not on the court and off the court. Given the circumstances that they face. Having a hometown dude bring them a championship would probably be the greatest thing they can have for themselves. And I'm like I said, I'm not going to rule that out. I refuse to rule that out with what I've seen. So we're just going to stay in a holding pattern in regards to AD's tenure with the Lakers, because I think it's a good chance that he's thinking about greener pastures. And in thinking about greener pastures, I would caution him to understand that although the future doesn't necessarily tell you, the past doesn't necessarily tell the future. What I will say is we got 17 of them. 17. So we've been doing something right a lot of the time for a long time. And I think we're probably the best bet going forward because of it. I think that that's just common sense. But at the same time, it's like there's some other good opportunities and destinations as well. And a guy like Anthony Davis should bring winning with him. So I always say this about Anthony Davis, but I'm gonna say it here in this camera too. I think a lot of what's wrong with Anthony Davis is not his fault. I think it has to do with the system and the way we're running plays. The way ball movement and player movement is not as prevalent in his offense. How stagnant we tend to be at times in our half court, asking him to catch the ball a little too far away from the basket, those type of things. So those are things that I think if he were in a different system, if we were to say bring in a coach that can bring some offensive intensity to this team, offensive art, I guess, as someone who's a scientist as it pertains to offense. If we can bring in somebody like that, I think Anthony Davis's numbers will skyrocket. They will skyrocket. I mean, I see opportunities for easy buckets. I see opportunity for misdirection plays that get him open jump shots that he probably will hit better at a better and higher clip as he gets healthier. Now, his jump shots have been missing like crazy, and I don't think that has anything to do with our plays. I think that has to do with him, but I just don't think that'll carry over going forward, and I think he'll get those same jump shots later on. If we run better plays, I'm pretty sure he'll hit them. That's basically what I'm saying. So, all in all, he's going to have to work on his body, though. The reality is, if he doesn't take care of his body, it don't matter where he's at. He's going to be this guy there, and that's who he doesn't want to be, quite honestly. This version of Anthony Davis looks like the version of Anthony Davis that you expect to see when he turns like 34, 35 years of age. He's 28. So it's on him to recognize what's going on, what changes need to be made in his life physically, from a physical standpoint, and make those changes. And that's what I say. It ain't about your attitude necessarily, the passion behind your heart and all that. That's only a part of it. Your body has to be able to catch up and to be able to represent that passion. And he's just gonna have to turn some things around from a physical standpoint. And the Lakers too are gonna have to understand this. You're putting too much pressure on those three players by having 3 max contracts. A guy like Anthony Davis has too much of a load, given the fact that he's one of the only front court guys. You want to run small ball lineups, which means he has to bang up against bigger players. And plus, not only that, but he's always working back from injury because that's just how his body is. So when you have that much of a load leaning on a player like that, yeah, you're going to wear him down. Yeah, he's not going to look good after year 2.5 of running like that. However, we did have some depth last year, so let me scratch all that. But this year, we're really relying too much on him to hold us down, while the majority of our role players are not defensive role players or even bigs that can complement him. So this is on Rob and LeBron, the people who okayed this roster. They're putting too much pressure on AD to be their one and only big. Sort of like I say about DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix and Bam Adebayo in Miami. Too much pressure on those guys to hold down the front court entirely on their own. You'd much rather have a dynamic like Orlando or Cleveland or there's some others too. Mine is going blank, but the teams that have really good center power forward combinations that can both block shots, both rebound, and preferably be able to have some good foot speed. So that's not what we have right now. Our front court is older. Our front court is struggling, and so as we continue to struggle, he continues to struggle. So that's that. Get him some more help, and you'll get a lot out of him. And of course, the Lakers are trying to do that. You got Jeremy Grant. There's somebody we're looking at. They talk about the guys in the Pacer land. We're trying to get somebody out of Pacer land, DeMontis or Evan Turner, Miles Turner, sorry, and maybe somebody like that. Or of course, Ben Simmons. We're kicking the can on that. So the Lakers are going to do something, hopefully. It's just a question is going to be what AD needs for him to kind of have a little of that load taken off of him. So that's priority, and I hope the Lakers have it in mind. So next up, we got the Mavs without Luka Doncic, but as I told you guys, they got if I'm not mistaken, it's Jalen Brunson is the name of the guy I'm thinking about. Another Jalen. It's like 8 Jalens, and then of course they have Porzingis, who's healthy, ready to go as far as I'm concerned, and playing well. So look out for those guys. They're still a formidable team without their star. So that's what I got, man. No Lakers tonight, man. I'm happy to have my vehicle back in my personal life. It's been a long road for everything, but ultimately, I just want to come here and talk a little basketball. I thank you guys very much. My name is BDO44, and I'm out.